This is tutorial 1-5, working with feature attributes in the GIS tutorial 1 basic workbook. In this tutorial, you're going to learn about a few tools you can use to better understand your data by looking at the details about it besides just the location and shape. I'm starting off from tutorial 1-4, so the first thing I have to do is save my map as tutorial 1-5. You're going to want to use the bookmark just to make sure that you're at the extent that they want us to be. And then you're going to use the identify button, which is this one right here, the I. And anywhere you click on the map, the identify window will open and give you information about that feature. So let's click on here, South Dakota. And down here, you can see that we have all this information on it. A lot of it is about population. And right now it's identifying from the topmost layer. If I expand that, you can choose where it's just the visible layers, the ones that are only selectable, and you'll learn how to do that later on. All layers, whether they're visible or not, and it will choose all of them. For that one, I'll actually just show you right now. So it's on. If I click on Colorado, I get values for the Colorado County that I clicked on, but also for the US state that I clicked on. But they want us to have it to where it's only looking at US states. So we're going to click on Texas. And as I showed you before, we have a lot of information on population, what subregion it's from, age groups, housing. Now they want us to change the identify from to US cities, and they want us to click on Houston, which is this one right here, right by the coast. Now we don't have as many attributes for cities. We have population for 2000, 2007, area of land and water. They have a capital field, but there's no value, meaning that it's likely a yes or no, so it will only indicate if it is the capital. And they have this population class where they kind of break it up into categories of different size cities. Another cool thing you can do, you can select multiple cities at the same time and you can go through them. And as you can see, for Austin is the state capital. When I click on one, if you look over here in the state, you'll see that it flashes green. Another way of selecting cities rather than just create a box like that is you can select one, then hold down the shift key, and then you can select ones that you want. Now I couldn't select those three by creating a box without selecting all the ones in the middle as well. If you choose one that you don't want, you can always click on it and choose the remove from tree. You can also click on one, right click it, and you can select it and it will be highlighted. And also by clicking on them, you can see that they flash green. So I'm going to go and click on Houston again, but I'm not holding down the shift key. And you can see that in the identify box, all the others were discarded. If I right click and hit flash, we once again get that little green dot that appears, but we can also zoom to it, and that'll bring us in much closer. If I right click again, I can create a bookmark. The nice thing about this is if I go up to bookmarks after doing it, it's already named it. So I don't have to waste time typing in the name of the city, it just does it automatically, which is a nice feature. So I'm going to close the identify window and I'm going to go up to bookmarks, go up to the 48, and then I'm going to use the bookmarks again to test out my Houston bookmark, and I'm right back where I was. Now the your turn wants us to go to Colorado, so I'm going to right click it and zoom to layer, which we learned about previously, and they just want us to have Colorado counties as the only identifiable layer. So I'm going to click on it, and obviously nothing happened because I'm still set to US cities and I didn't click on a city. So I'm going to go in here and change it to Colorado counties, And if I click on them, we have quite a bit of data on for census. So they just want you to go through and click on a few. You can highlight these. As you can see, they're polygons, so they light up a little bit differently than the points did. But you can zoom to. Another nice one is if you click a neighbor, you can right click and pan to. Zoom out a little bit for it, and you can create a bookmark. So you should go around and practice this for a little bit. It is a pretty cool function. Next, we're going to use the Find tool. So I'm going to go up to Bookmarks, and I'm going to go to the 48 states. I'm going to turn on my magnifier. This is the Find tool, the little binoculars, next to the ruler. This is another useful tool for locating a feature among many others. Like, for instance, we have a lot of cities here. And if you were unfamiliar where the city was, but you knew which city you were looking for, this would be a good way to do it. So you're going to type in Boston, and then you're going to hit Find. If I bring it up, we have one value, and if I click on it, you can see that the point flashed over here. So we can right click on it, and you can do the flash again, or we could do simply a zoom to. Now I'm going to go back to Bookmarks and go to the 48. This took a while for something where there's not many features, and the reason it took so long was because we were looking for Boston in all visible layers. Now look at what layers we have. We have US cities, Colorado streets, Colorado counties, and US states. Now even if you weren't that familiar with Boston, like where it was, you would know that it's a city. So if you were to select city, now let's look up Boston. You know, it found it much quicker. And many times you'll kind of know what field it is, and that's another way to speed it up, because right now we're only dealing with a few features, but if you have to go through like tens of thousands, it could take a while using the spine feature. So you can also click on in field and look what fields that we have. Now we know it's not going to be in population, we know it's not going to be in area, it's not a capital. You're probably not familiar with these FIPs, but those are identification numbers. ST is the state. Class, it's not going to be it. So you would assume that it's in the name field, even if you were unfamiliar with attribute tables at this point. And of course, this is going to go really quick again because of that. Another way to best use the find feature is sometimes not to spell out things fully, because you don't know if someone might have made a mistake, or you might be spelling it wrong, especially if it's a city or some kind of name from another country and you're not sure of the spelling. Now, I typed it in lowercase to see if that would cause an error, and it didn't. But you can see writing something in partially, like San F, got me San Francisco. Just typing in H got me a lot. But there are other ways to go in, and you see that we only have 17 out of all of them. So if you were even that unfamiliar with it, you could at least narrow it down to a much smaller list that you can choose from. And then whenever you want to do a new search, you just click on this and it resets it. So I'm going to go in and type Boston in again. And just like we could with the Identify tool, you can create bookmarks. You can even open up the Identify window and get a look at all the attributes. Let's see what else you can do. You can select it, you can unselect it. So that's it for this video.